Hello everyone and welcome back yet again to another daily update video. My name is CryptoStash and I hope you're having an amazing weekend. Currently it is Sunday and let's get right into the charts for Bitcoin. Right now, as you can see, we have reclaimed the value area low of this range right here that we have been consolidating for about a week right now, I think. Let me just measure it again. So we have been consolidating for almost 2 weeks right now in this range right here. And if we look at the weekly candles for today, since today we have is Sunday and we have only about 8 hours until we have a new weekly candle open. And in my opinion, if we manage to close this weekly candle, as you can see right here, above the POC of this range, then the next candle, in my opinion, right here would be potentially to the upside, and then we can have another bullish momentum right here to the upside like this. Basically, this is my outlook for Bitcoin for next week, or it is possible that we continue to range here basically until the altcoins start tripping again. Right now I want to talk about Ethereum, since Ethereum got a perfect bounce, as you can see from that weekly pivot from this week, and since then has pumped almost 10%, touching that R1 again, basically this first pivot resistance. And on the weekly time frame, Ethereum is looking pretty nice. Now it is possible that we can get some kind of correction, since, as you know, we have had right now almost 5 weekly candles in a row, basically in the green. But as you know, right here we have had also 5 candles previously in history in a row, basically without a red candle. So it is possible that maybe we have another week of potential upside, test this high right here, and then we can see some kind of rejection that we got here and also here like this. So I am expecting this, but until we reach this target right here, basically these two highs are very important. $4,080. I don't think it would be wise to sell or short Ethereum before we reach these targets, since in my opinion it can push a lot more, and potentially, since this is a very strong resistance, if it manages to actually break out and start pushing to the older all-time highs, which is basically almost at 5,000, 4,800, that would be pretty nice, and would be pretty crazy, since we would have been breaking out of like a 4-year resistance. Right here you can see, if we draw a trend line from this previous high, you can see right now we are currently sitting right here, but if we draw it like this to touch that previous high, basically we still have momentum up until 4,000. This is why I'm talking about that 4,000 is very key. And also we do have in about 4 days a new monthly candle open, and if Ethereum manages to close this monthly candle, this strong buyer's monthly candle, basically above 3,800, let's say, I'm expecting that potentially we can have another engulfing monthly candle to the upside, which will take us to that previous high, and that would be around another 26 to 25% move to the upside, and we would be breaking out of this strong resistance right here, and potentially we can even finally see new all-time highs for Ethereum, which would be pretty insane in my opinion. Also Sui currently having a very strong monthly candle to the upside. You can see basically 4 days, if we manage to close this monthly candle on Sui, basically in my opinion we could possibly go back to $5 or even new all-time high, since if we look at the weekly time frame, still pretty nice momentum to the upside. And would this time be different? As I said, in Ethereum would that move to the upside end up like all the other moves that we have had after a strong momentum to the upside, where we get like 50% correction, and how much we got here, 25% correction, another 30% correction, but I don't think we would be getting a correction of around 60% like we got basically during the first quarter of this year. In my opinion, if we get a correction, we would get a small correction like we got right here of around 27 to 30% basically. Since if we look at the stock market, you can see the stock market is still pushing pretty high. RSI not even oversold on the weekly, and still on the monthly it is also not overbought, I mean. So the stock market still has potential for more upside, which also helps Bitcoin push higher, since also Bitcoin's RSI on the weekly time frame and on the monthly time frame is yet to be overbought again, as I said. So maybe this time is actually the time that we see the altcoins actually run for once like before, since right now everybody is expecting, there are a lot of very bearish guys on X basically, and everybody is expecting the altcoins to crash once again. So maybe finally this time after 4 years Ethereum is finally going to have its run to $5,100, and basically if we enable the yearly pivots, the final target of the yearly pivots would be $5,228, which is pretty good target in my opinion. But firstly, we need to see a break of the old all-time high, which was basically all the way back in November 2021. So we need to see that final push and breakout, flip this trend line as support. So the best case scenario for it would be after this consolidation, break above this trend line and then retest of that trend line, and then we see that final push to the upside basically. But this will take some time to play out. I don't think it can happen basically this summer. It would probably happen in Q4 basically, September, October and November in my opinion. The winter months, they are very bullish. Q4 is historically very bullish for crypto. As you know, the last Q4 we finally had that first pump, historical pump to 100k. After making that low from 49,000 basically, we pumped almost 120% up to 108k, and which was also history being made for Bitcoin. And then we had a bounce from that yearly pivot, and right now we are pumping again. So also it all depends on Bitcoin and on the stock market. And also if you look at the liquidation heat map for next week, you can see we have a lot of liquidity piling to the upside at 190, 120, all the way up to 124k or 125k for Bitcoin, which is also pretty nice. And I am expecting this liquidity to be taken out since momentum is still to the upside. All the shorts are getting absorbed by the sellers right now. And also you can see finally we are getting once again bullish buys on the Bitcoin ETF. Basically the big institutions, they are buying once again after 3 days of sell-off basically. And also the fear and greed index is currently pointing down to that neutral zone, so it is possible that we get some kind of a move soon to that extreme greed zone. As I was saying before, we can talk about Bitcoin topping out. So and also if you look at the longs versus shorts ratio, for now you can see we do have more buying pressure right now on the bigger exchanges like Binance and Bybit. So this is pretty good for next week. And also next week we do have some very important news. We have finally the federal funds rate. So basically if we get a rate cut, that would in my opinion start the actual crypto rally that everybody is waiting for, and Bitcoin might actually go up to 150k, basically my target for the year, or maybe it can go even higher. So next week is very important week. It's July 30 on 8 p.m. I think this is Central European time, basically. So very important news. Next week we also have on Thursday PC price index, and we do have unemployment rate on Friday. So next week will be very volatile. I would suggest you trade with caution next week. And so that will be for today's update video. Don't forget to follow me on X, where I post daily market updates, and also don't forget to trade on KSX. Basically 0 spot trading fees and 0 maker and 0.01 taker on futures trading, basically the lowest fees out of any exchange right now. So make sure to sign up using my link, which would be in the description, or using the code right here. And yes guys, that will be it, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.